Good morning, YouTube! What is up, guys? Today we're doing the daily puzzle for September 26th. Let's do it. Alright, here we have, well, it's white to move. So, looks like we have some promoting chances, hopefully. Maybe we can push this pawn. Maybe we can come up with some checks later on. We don't know yet. Let's just think. I think that we can play pawn push here. If we play pawn push here, notice the king just comes up, and then we're kind of like lost. So we're gonna push this pawn. Okay, so now black's trying rook to c1, checkmate. If you spotted that, good. We can, however, push the pawn to b2, right? All right, here, notice if we push here, right, then the rook will take, and then our knight will take, and then it will be black's turn, in which black can take this pawn and then promote their pawn, right? So that might be a problem for white. So we can't immediately push this pawn. Also notice that if this rook takes this pawn, it is poisoned, because this knight, what it will do, oh whoops, let me get that out of the way. This knight, after this rook takes the pawn, after this rook takes the pawn, this knight will jump to c4, attacking the rook and the king. It's a double attack or a fork. And so we will easily win that rook. So black cannot, in any circumstance, take that pawn on b2 just yet. What we must do is we must take care of this pawn. Now, we can either take this pawn or we can push it, right? I mean, if we move our knight somewhere, the king's going to move, and then we're going to lose this pawn. If we move this knight somewhere, we're going to lose the pawn. If we push the pawn, we already know it's going to be a loss for us, right? So we have to push this pawn, right? Or this king. If we move this king, we're going to be susceptible to some checks. If we move this pawn, I think we have some winning chances. If we push this pawn, if we take this pawn, actually, then black can simply take back. And notice black's king is closer to our pawn than we are to its, and so therefore we have lost. So we have to push, actually, and get closer, as close as possible to the other side, even with the h pawn. All right, so notice the king moved back, attempting to come and swallow these pawns, right, for breakfast. What do we do about it? We can promote. We can get rid of that rook on the board, And now, notice that this pawn is here, and we can protect it in time. Now we have to be careful. Do we want to take this pawn? If we take this pawn, then the pawn will push, then the king moves back, and then the pawn will push again, and then it will be a battle of the pawns, promotions, but black will promote first, and it will be a check. So it will definitely be a draw. Or maybe a win. I highly doubt it's a win. I think it's a draw. So we can't take this pawn just yet. Can we move this king? Well, I don't think that's doing much. We need to get rid of this pawn, right? But we can't just take it just yet. So we have to bring this knight into the game. So where do we move it? Do we move it here or do we move it here? We have to bring it probably here, because if we move it here, then it has to go through another square to come to the d file. If we move it to c3, however, it can immediately jump onto the d file, and then maybe there are some forking chances, right? So let's go to c3. Let's go to d5. Let's go to d5. Okay, so notice the king has prevented our chances of the knight moving to either e7 or f6. So what do we do about it? We can simply play check. And notice this knight on this square is preventing the pawn from pushing, right? And in any given case, if this pawn tries to push, we'll just simply capture it, and then we'll take this pawn later on. So for now, I'd say we'll take this pawn, right? Well, no, because if we take this pawn, then we lose our key role, the position. The key role of the king is to protect this knight. Now, once we've taken that pawn, we're not defending that knight anymore, right? So it's kind of futile. Oh, whoops, I accidentally clicked that. So taking this pawn is wrong. What can we do instead? We can simply move the king to f3. And notice when the king moves to f3, the king has to move, right? This black king has to move. I mean, if the pawn is pushed, then we can trade it off. And this is obviously a win. I mean, it's very simple to win this. Easy pushes, right? White is completely winning this. And let's go back. If the king simply moves, then we can, what can we do? We can play knight b3 check. You know, that's a possibility. We can play knight takes pawn. Well, actually, knight takes pawn is kind of losing. It's kind of drawish. Yeah, we have to think about checks. I think this is completely winning. You know, just go for that. Go for that pawn. Black is completely lost here because. Oh wait, no. Oh wait, yeah. Oh wait, no. Sorry. Black is winning here. My bad. What am I doing me here? Alright, so it's plus 50 and now it's minus 50, right? No, it's plus 50 still. Alright, so after king c3, notice we have to go to knight c1. Now this is a square. So notice here, after king d2, we simply play king c5 and attack that pawn. And this pawn is won no matter what. And now we can simply retrieve that pawn and win the game. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that long daily puzzle. It was pretty good because, you know, daily puzzles usually are endgame puzzles. You know, those are the ones that people miss, you know, the ones that may save them from a loss to a draw, you know, the ones that, you know, put them in a winning situation from a draw. So working on your endgames is really crucial, you know. Openings, you know, from the start, of course, they're important, but the endgames, they win you the game. Alright? I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.